大家好，中级英文课，这是第9课。我叫 Warren， 我是你的英语老师。This is lesson 9. We will discuss Seattle and the areas around here, and also review grammar points from other lessons. We will cover tourist attractions and Washington State. In this lesson, I will cover Washington State and Seattle and review different grammar points with you. Priscilla will also talk about places in Seattle and review your homework as well as other grammar points. Jim will cover sports in this area and other places to visit. This is a map of Washington State. Washington State has many counties. Do you know which county we live in? We live in King County. King County is the largest county in Washington State. It has the most people. What are the counties north of King County? We have Snohomish County, which is directly north of King County. And then another county, Skagit County, is north of Snohomish County. You will notice that some of the counties in Washington State are named after Native American names, and they can be hard to pronounce until you hear it a few times. Snohomish, Skagit. To the south of King County is Pierce County. Both Snohomish and Pierce County have large cities. Do you know the name of the city in Snohomish County? It is Everett. What about the name of the company that makes airplanes? 飞机公司 in Everett. What is the name of that company? Boeing. What is the name of the city in Pierce County? Tacoma. Tacoma is in Pierce County and is south of King County. Some of the other counties that you may want to visit are Pacific County, which has a vacation place called Ocean Shores. That is again near the ocean or on the ocean, and you can go clam digging there. Okanagan County is in eastern Washington, and again is named after a Native American name. Whatcom County is to the very north of Washington State and is adjacent or near or on the Canadian border. San Juan County is another place you may want to visit. San Juan County is very nice during the summer. It is made up of many islands and is very beautiful up there. Yakima County is to the southeast of King County. Spokane County is in the far east part of the state. The city of Spokane is also in Spokane County. Let's try some grammar exercises about counties in Washington State. Complete these sentences about counties. The first one is a comparative adjective that you would have to use. King County is the largest county in Washington State. It has the most people. Snohomish County is which direction? North of King County. Pierce County is south of King County. Do you remember where Pacific County is? Pacific County is in the southwest part of Washington State. Did you choose the right preposition here? Where is Yakima County? Yakima County is southeast of King County. Notice I used the word southeast or southwest, and not the way you would say it in Chinese, which would be Dongnan or Xinan. In English, North and south always comes first, then east and west. And you know in Chinese, it's the other way around. So east-west comes first, and then north-south. What about this next sentence? People can take the citizenship test. This tests your prepositions again. Is it at, on, in, to, or by Yakima County? People can take the citizenship test in Yakima County. What about this sentence here? Whatcom County is at the Canadian border. You can also say Whatcom County is on the Canadian border or by the Canadian border. All of these mean about the same thing. Seattle is located in King County. Seattle is famous for many things, including the Space Needle, Pike Place Market, and Starbucks. Let's do some more prepositions review using places in Seattle. Space Needle is at, on, into, or by Seattle. Space Needle is in Seattle. First Starbucks is at, on, into, or by Pike Place Market. First Starbucks is in Pike Place Market. You can also say the first Starbucks is at Pike Place Market. Or you can probably even say the first Starbucks is by Pike Place Market, because the first Starbucks is actually across the street from the main part of Pike Place Market. So you could say the first Starbucks is by Pike Place Market. What about the next sentence? I like to walk to the Pike Place Market. You could also say I like to walk in the Pike Place Market, which means a different thing, because now I'm walking inside the market and not walking to the market. You can also say I like to walk by the Pike Place Market without going inside the market. What about this sentence? I am going to the Space Needle on the bus. You could also say I am going to the Space Needle by bus, where you remove the word the, so that makes it sound better. I am going to the Space Needle by bus. What about this sentence? She is, do you remember the preposition used for being on the airplane? She is on the airplane and can see the Space Needle. The last sentence, he is on the street near Pike Place Market. You could also say he is by the street near Pike Place Market. Here is a map of Seattle. Seattle can be divided into a north part, a central part, and a south part. There are many cities around Seattle. Cities east of Seattle include Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, Issaquah. Cities south of Seattle include Tukwila and Burien. Do you know a very common popular spot near Burien and Tukwila? It's SeaTac Airport, Jicheng. Let's try a fun exercise. Pretend that you are a bird. 假装你是一只鸟. And you want to fly from North Seattle to Issaquah by following these red arrows. You have to describe each step. Let's try. What is the first step? How would you say that in English? Fly south until you get to South Seattle. Let's do the next step. How would you say this in English? Fly northeast until you get to Bellevue. Remember, it's northeast to get to Bellevue, not east-north. So that it is not the way you would say it in Chinese, Dongbei. It is northeast. The next step, how would you describe that? Fly north to Kirkland. Here's another step. Can you say that in English? Fly east to Redmond. The last step, fly directly south to Issaquah. This last sentence, I added the word directly south to Issaquah. Since you're not going by any other spot other than going directly from Redmond to Issaquah, you don't necessarily have to say directly south to Issaquah. You could just have said fly south to Issaquah. Another famous attraction in Seattle is the Pike Place Market. It opened in 1907 for farmers to sell their goods. Up to 10 million shoppers, go there per year. The world's first Starbucks is located at Pike Place Market. You may hear some people say Pike's Place Market, and that is sometimes a common term that you hear in Seattle. But I think technically most of the people would say Pike Place Market. Let's review the order of adjectives and adverbs of frequency using places in Seattle. The first three sentences would use these adverbs: always, usually, normally, often, seldom, rarely, or never. So let's do the first sentence. On Monday morning, the Pike Place Market is rarely crowded. You could probably also say the Pike Place Market on Monday morning is seldom crowded. Starbucks coffee is expensive, taikuela. So what would I say here? I never go to Starbucks because it is too expensive. The man at the Pike Place Market, what does he always do? He always catches the fish thrown to him. Let's try some exercises about the order of adjectives. So these are the adjectives here: red, large, and fresh. The Pike Place Market has, what's the right order? Large, fresh, red apples. The color red usually goes just before the noun, unless there's a proper noun, like this next sentence. I like to drink black Starbucks bitter coffee. So what is the right order here? I like to drink bitter black Starbucks coffee. So just before the noun is the formal noun, Starbucks, and then the color. The last sentence, Pike's Place Market has many young Chinese tourists. Here's an exercise for you to translate into English. What is the first one? Nali. There. The next one should be easy as well. Zheli. Here. What about yuan? Far. Jin. Near. What about this sentence here? Do you remember this from other exercises that we did earlier? You go back along this road. What about this sentence here? How do I get to the Seattle Center from here? Dichi? Can you translate that? You go forward along this road, then turn left at the second intersection. Dipa. Can you make an English sentence here? The first Starbucks is at the Pike Place Market. Dichu. Is that place far from the Pike Place Market? And the last one, Disher. My home is near the Space Needle. That's all I have for this week. Priscilla will talk more about Seattle and review older lessons and your homework. Jim will talk about sports and do some review with you. I hope you are learning more and more English every week. 我希望你的英语说得更好. I hope you can see more of Seattle soon. Of course, now you need to stay safe when you are outside of your house. 当然，现在你要小心. Thank you very much for watching. 下周见. Bye-bye.
大家好. Here it's Priscilla again for 中级英文课第9周. And tonight's lesson is, well, Teacher Warren already talked about some other Seattle sites. And I'm going to talk about some more Seattle sites after first reviewing your homework. Okay, so 我首先想要复习第8周作业. So let's go ahead with that. This was the homework for lesson 8, part 1, 第一部分. And that was to write sentences, 造句, about yesterday, 昨天, and tomorrow's weather using simple past for 昨天 and simple future for 明天. And I gave you an example, simple past, simple future. Here I said yesterday was a sunny day, but tomorrow there will be some rain. So the past tense word was the word was. That's a to be verb. Yesterday was a sunny day. And the future verb in the sentence are will be. The words are will be. That's future. All right, so then it was your turn. 轮到你的. And so here are the pictures and a possible homework example that somebody wrote is the sun came out yesterday, but tomorrow the rain will return. So for this sentence, the simple past is a verb, 2 words together, making the verb phrase, the 动词短语, came out. Yesterday, the sun came out. And the future words are will return. Again, a verb phrase, 动词短语, will return. That's the future. 未来式. 简单未来式. 未来式. Okay, so I hope you tried the homework. And let's move on. This is part 2, the Diarbufen for lesson 8 homework. And it's a picture about 是一个照片 of 关于超级气旋 cyclone that hit India, that came to India last Wednesday. 周三在印度登陆. Okay, so your assignment, the homework was to write some sentences using clauses, because last week in lesson 8, we talked about 子句 and 子句词 and 段语连接句子. I don't know if I said that right, but anyway, we talked about words that begin clauses, and those words are called 子句. And we talked about the clauses themselves, which are short phrases, and that the clause words and clauses bring two ideas together. So they're 连接主义, 连接主义, they bring together ideas. So here's the sentence that, let's see, here's the example that I gave you last week. The two ideas that I want to put together into one sentence using a clause. So one idea is, this is a place, talking about the picture. And then the other idea, it is raining a lot. And the sentence I gave you using a clause is, this is a place where it is raining a lot. The word where, if you look at my cursor, where, that's the clause word. This is here, right here is the 子句. Where it is raining a lot is the phrase, the clause phrase, the 短语, that starts with the clause word where. So here are the two ideas. This is a place where it is raining a lot. Two ideas, one sentence. Okay, so 一起, two ideas together, 一起. The other example I gave you for that picture is, in the picture, you can see a man is walking in the rain. And the other idea is, the man looks tired, 很累. Okay. So put the two ideas together, 两个主义一起. You have the man who, or you could use that, but who is better? The man 听起来好, 听起来更好 is to use who. The man who is walking in the rain looks tired. All right, so here's the 句词 are where, who, and like I said, you can use that. It's okay, 可以, but who, because it's a man, who is the clause word that is better, 更好, better to use than that. Okay, so here's part 2, and what might be a homework example. So for your turn, here's some homework examples. One idea is, a cyclone hit India. Okay, 超级气旋 hit India. 袭击印度. The cyclone caused a lot of damage. And so caused a lot of damage is 造成了破坏. So put the two ideas together. Okay, 两个主义一起. The cyclone that hit India caused a lot of damage. So that is the clause word, the 句词, and that hit India is the clause. The cyclone caused a lot of damage. The cyclone that hit India caused a lot of damage. All right, the other example is, a man, if you look at the picture, a man is climbing over a fallen tree. So maybe we should go back to the picture. You see, here's the man in the background here, and he's climbing over, somehow getting over this tree that fell down across the road, all right? So a man is climbing over a fallen tree. 一个男人爬上 一棵倒下的树. So one idea is a man is climbing over a fallen tree. Another idea, 第二主义, a tree fell across the road. All right, 一棵树掉在马路对面. All right, so put the two ideas together. A man who is walking down the street is climbing over a tree that fell across the road. So this may be surprising to you. Look what is in this sentence. There are two clauses. A man who is walking down the street. So that's one clause. And then another clause is here. The tree that fell across the road. Two ideas. But there's many ideas here. There's a man climbing over a fallen tree. There's a tree fell across the road. And to say the whole story, it just sounds good. 听起来好,更好, to put two clauses in this sentence. So this is how you can express it. And I want to show you, look at this here. You see that? That's called a comma. And this is called a comma. Sometimes clauses in writing, of course you can't see them in spoken language, but in writing, you might know it's a clause. One, it starts with a clause word. A clause word, a 子助词. But the whole clause, the 端语, is separated by commas. A man, comma, who's walking down the street, comma. So you know here, this whole clause is one idea. And you know what? It's about this man. The clause word that's referring to a man is right after the subject, right after. Okay, but down here we didn't do that. With the word that, you almost never separate with commas. But you use the word that here because it's a tree. It's not a person. Who is only for people, maybe for a dog. But that is only, that can be used for people, but it's a tree here, so it can't be who, it has to be that. Okay, moving on. Lesson 9 talks about places in Seattle. So the place I'm going to talk to you about is called the Space Needle, 太空针塔, space, 太空, and then 针 as in a needle, like at the doctor's you get a needle, 针塔, ta like a pagoda, like a temple. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, it was built 建造 for the Seattle World's Fair of 1962, and you can see it's Seattle, what a World's Fair. It's a big meeting. It's a big meeting. On the top, this part up here is a restaurant, a 餐厅, and it's rotating, so it's 旋转. And up there is also a place you can, a viewing area, 观景台, and you can see it's very tall, so you can see many places. And it's the neighborhood is Seattle Center, 西雅图中心. All right, maybe you'll go there. So let's do an exercise. So here's an exercise about the Seattle Space Needle, and I want you to think about the lesson on comparative adjectives, 比较级, 形容词, and superlative adjectives, 最高级形容词, and see what would be good answers to these sentences. How would you complete the sentence? The Space Needle is one of the sites in Seattle. A site is a special place, a place to see. So 暂停视频一下 and 试试做这个练习。Okay, so I hope you stopped the video for a moment and tried to do this exercise. The Space Needle is one of the, what option here? Famous, most famous, more famous, famouser. What's the better word to put in there? The answer is most famous. It's one of the most famous sites in Seattle. And a hint here is this word here, I believe that's a 冠词, often and almost always used with the word most, the most famous, because it's distinguishing it. Well, let's look at the other sentence. I hope you tried that one too. The Space Needle is, which word? Taller, tallest, tall, most tall than nearby buildings. So this is a comparison of two things. When you compare two things, you're using 比较级形容词 not 最高级形容词 right? Okay, so which one of these is a 比较级形容词? And the only answer is taller. The Space Needle is taller than nearby buildings. All right, let's look at this next. The next I'm going to talk about are some of my favorite places in and around Seattle. One of my favorite places is Green Lake, 玉湖公园, Green Lake Park. It's a very popular park. Many people come to Green Lake. It has a small 小 cafe 馆 and you can also rent boats, and 你可以租小船 go out on the lake on a boat. And I live nearby, 离我家很近. So I like to take walks in the park after dinner. It's very beautiful. And as you see here, it's on the north side. 这个地方位于西雅图的北方. Okay, so here's an exercise about Green Lake using adverbs of frequency, which was from an earlier lesson. So if you would, I'll read these sentences and then I'm going to ask you to pause the video. On sunny days, there are rarely, never, usually, sometimes many people walking around enjoying the park and the lake. Teacher Sue, 我是苏水兰, 老师苏, Teacher Sue always, never, more, often walks around the park after dinner. So pause the video briefly and try to do this exercise. 暂停视频一下，试试做. Okay, so maybe you did that. So on sunny days, there are rarely many people walking around and enjoying the park. On sunny days, there are never many people. So what adverb 副词 makes sense here? And the answer is usually. Sometimes there are many people, but usually is more than sometimes. And Green Lake is popular. Many, many people come to Green Lake all the time, all year long. Teacher Sue always walks around the park after dinner. I don't do it every day. So always is not an answer. Teacher Sue never walks around the park after dinner. No, I told you I like to walk around the park after dinner. Teacher Sue more walks around the park after dinner. Okay, more isn't even an adverb. So the only answer is often. Often walks around the park after dinner. Right, next. Another place, it's near Seattle. you have to take a boat. 你需要坐船去 to get to Whidbey Island. So here it is, the name Whidbey Island Dao. Whidbey is the name of the island, Whidbey Dao. And this is a trail, a xiaolu. Eby's Landing Trail is in a park, Eby's Landing State Park, 公园. And you can take this trail. It's popular, but because it's a little, you have to take a boat to get there, drive. There's not a lot of people. You can see in the picture, this is the trail. There's the parking lot here. And the trail comes up and goes up here and up and up and up. And then it goes down. You return by walking this way along the beach. So you can see a couple of people back to the parking lot. About 5 or 6 miles. It's a great trail because on the trail, if you're lucky, and it's a clear day, you can see Mount Rainier and you can see the Olympic Mountains. And as I said, when you can walk, you walk part of the trail up here and the other part down here. It's really lovely. So let's go on and answer some questions about the Eby's Landing Trail and using adverbs of manner, which was something we talked about a few lessons ago. So here are the sentences. I'll read the sentences and then ask you to pause and try to do the exercise yourself, and then I'll give you the answers. Sentence 1, it's healthy and fun to take a leisurely, most leisure, often never walk on the Eby Landing Trail. The word leisure is 悠闲. If you are lucky, from the high point of the trail, you will be able to always, clearly, sometimes sadly, see Mount Rainier and the Olympics. Remember, these are adverbs of manner, 情态副词, that we want to choose. The third sentence, in a few places along the trail, you must step carefully, more often, better, or sometimes, because it is steep. So pause the video a moment and try to do this exercise. 暂停视频一下，谢谢做这个练习。Okay? Hopefully, maybe, 可能 you tried this exercise. So let's look at the first sentence. It's healthy and fun to take a, which word there is an adverb to start out? Well, never is an adverb, often is an adverb, but these are adverbs of frequency. Okay. Leisurely is 悠闲, has to do with how you feel, kind of a mood. Okay, so that's the right answer, leisurely. It's healthy and fun to take a leisurely walk on the Eby Landing Trail. All right, the next one. If you are lucky, from the high point of the trail, you will be able to always see, sometimes sadly. So always and sometimes are adverbs of frequency. So that's not what we're looking for. Sadly is about a feeling, 感觉, or a mood. But this one makes the most sense. Clearly, 清楚的. Okay, 清楚的. See the mountain. Okay. As I showed you the picture, you climb way up and then you walk down and then you walk along the beach. Okay. In a few places on the trail, you must step what makes sense. in terms of how you do something carefully. All right, so these next two slides, I'm going to say these words, and I'm going to say them twice. And I'm going to say it once, pause, and maybe 跟我读 to practice how you say the words. Okay. So and then the Mandarin is over here if you need to understand what the word is. So the first word is city. City. The second word, Seattle. Seattle. This word, neighborhood. Neighborhood. So watch my cursor and I'll show you the syllables. Neighborhood. 3 parts. Okay. Downtown. Downtown. Space Needle. Space Needle. Pike Place Market. Pike Place Market. Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier. Chinatown. Chinatown. Fremont Troll. Fremont Troll. Seattle Aquarium. Aquarium. Seattle Aquarium. Okay. Museum of Pop Culture. Wenhua. Museum of Pop Culture. Gas Works Park. Gas Works Park. Let's go to the next list. Alki Beach Park. Alki Beach Park. And that's how they say it. When I first came to Seattle and I saw this word, I said Alki. But that's not how people here say it. They say Alki. All right, next. Discovery Park. Discovery Park. The Museum of Flight. Feiji. The Museum of Flight. The Gum Wall. The Gum Wall. Ballard Locks. Ballard Locks. Chihuly. That's a person's name. Chihuly. It's a man's name. So it's unusual. Chihuly Garden and Glass. Chihuly Garden and Glass. In this place, there are many things that are made with glass. Sculptures and art. Mm-hmm. Olympic Sculpture Park. Olympic Sculpture Sculpture Park, Olympic Sculpture Park. Seattle Public Library. 图书馆 Seattle Public Library. Pacific Science Center. Pacific Science Center. University of Washington. University of Washington. Starbucks. Starbucks. It's a coffee company. Amazon. Amazon. Okay, so homework. This picture has nothing to do with the homework. I just thought it was interesting because we're talking about, in this lesson, we're talking about places near Seattle. This place, Wenatchee, is about,离这里远一点儿. It's about 3 hours of driving over the mountains. But it's interesting. In this picture, you can see that cloud, 那个云, and it's called a lenticular cloud. Here's the word, lenticular cloud. It looks like a lens, like eyeglasses, 眼睛. That's what this word lenticular means. Means it looks like a lens. And you can see see the shape. I just thought it was interesting. I thought you'd like it. And it's over the mountain. Okay. Homework. 作业. 第9课的作业. Write a short story. Write a short story about a favorite place you visited in Seattle. Okay? Try to use words and grammar learned this semester. So, 写一篇小故事，写关于你最喜欢的西雅图的地方，试试用这个学期学习的单词和语法。Okay? Here's an example. Here's an entire little story about somebody might write using adverbs of frequency, and maybe you will, if you look at this story, maybe you will find the adverbs of frequency, adverbs of manner, conjunctions that we talked about, conjunction words, and that's 介系词, and we also there's also 最高级形容词, and there are adverbs of frequency and 语频的副词, and let's see, there are clauses and clause words, 子句和子句短语, and they're simple past tense, 简单过去式, and there's present tense, 现在简单式, and there's future tense in this story, 未来式, 简单未来式. Let's read the story together, or I'll read it to you and you can read along with me. I think the best neighborhood in Seattle is the International District, 国际区. It's the place where I know I can always find the food that I like at stores or restaurants. I get there by bus. Many buses go to the International District. Sometimes I can meet friends at Hinghey Park, which this is the actual name, where they play ping pong. This park is at the intersection of 6th Avenue South and King Street, east of the train station. So here, I know in this semester, you studied directions. So here's that. In the park is a beautiful old Chinese-style pavilion. Order of adjectives. All right. Pavilion is 亭子. The friends that I meet are all very good ping pong players, but if I may say, we are equally matched. And that means this, okay? 有同样乒乓的精通. Okay, next year, my cousin plans to take a holiday and visit me. He plays ping pong horribly, but I am going to bring him to the International District and the park anyway. If he is homesick for home cooking, I will take him to eat at one of the International District restaurants. Okay, so there's an example. You can study this for a while and think about what you might write about a place that you visited, to try to put all these different kinds of words and use the words and grammar rules, UFA, that you learned this semester. So here's the homework lesson in brief, and there's the Fremont Troll. I don't know if any of you have been there. It's under Aurora Avenue at North 36th Street. So maybe you can visit it sometime. It's free and it's big and scary. Stay well, 保健康, wash your hands, 洗手, wear a mask, 戴口罩, and see you next time. 下次见.
Hi, my name's Jim Robinson, and I'm going to finish up lesson week 9 here pretty quickly. We're going to go through simple past, simple future using if, and then simple relative clauses. And our theme this week has been sports, and so I've inserted a few pictures of sports and have some commentary on sports here in the Seattle area. So let's get going here. Here we have CenturyLink Field. So this is really right next door to CISC. I'm sure you're all very familiar with it. Anyway, it's used, the Seahawks use it, the Seattle Sounders, which is our soccer team, uses it. And then it's also used for a number of special events over the year. But it's fairly large, as you all know, so it has to be a pretty significant event. Sports in Seattle. Seattle has many sports teams. The Seahawks, the Mariners, the Sounders, University of Washington football team, to name a few. The Seahawks and the Sounders do pretty well. They're usually pretty good teams. The Mariners, man, they haven't had a good season for many years. Now, I really enjoy baseball personally, and going to the stadium there is really a lot of fun. The seats are pretty reasonable, and you can always get a seat. So I'd encourage you to go, even if they're not doing so well. Okay, let's move on to simple past tense. Football is played between September and December. So is played is simple past. You can make that as a statement, but the whole sentence really does occur in the past. It is played between September and December. My family went to 2 games last year. So went is in the past. To go, went. The Seahawks won 11 games and lost 5 games and did not go to the Super Bowl. So again, it's something that happened in the past. They won 11 games in the past and lost and didn't go to the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson, the quarterback, was named MVP. MVP, you hear that a lot, is most valuable player. Was named in the past. So that's really the simple past, something that's occurred in the past. Here we have CenturyLink Field again, but it's the Seattle Sounders. Now, they don't fill the stadium, but they have a very enthusiastic crowd. Soccer is a very popular thing. So next, we'll talk about simple future using if statement. So if a COVID-19 vaccine is found this year, the Seahawks will play next year. So if and will imply will play will be the future. If we buy 2021 season tickets this year, we will be able to go to the games next year. And for the Seahawks, you got to buy your tickets almost a year in advance. Even though there's some doubt about the season this year, you gotta buy it if you're going to go to the games next year. So will implies the future. If we bring umbrellas to the game, we will not get wet. Once again, we will not get wet in the future. We need to bring umbrellas to the game. Now, as you all well know, it rains here in Seattle. Certainly in the wintertime, so you need to bring umbrellas for sure. T-Mobile Park, where the Mariners are. Again, it's a fun park to be in. And the tickets are very reasonable. Seahawks tickets are really expensive. Mariners are pretty cheap. Simple relative clauses and definition. So a clause is just simply a sentence that has a noun and a verb. An independent clause is a noun, a verb, and a predicate. But anyway, okay, recognize a relative clause when you see one. First, it contains a subject and a verb. Next, it will begin with a relative pronoun, whom, whose, that, or which, or a relative adverb, when, where, or why. Finally, it will function as an adjective answering the question, what kind, how many, or which one. So this is the standard definition. My examples don't exactly go by that definition, but there's still clauses, still simple relative clauses. So the Mariners can win some games when they get good players. So the Mariners can win some games when they get good players. Second, the Mariners who do not win many games are fun to watch. The Mariners who win many games are fun to watch. So are fun to watch is really the adjective that describes the Mariners who don't. I enjoy watching baseball when the T-Mobile Park is full. So again, I enjoy watching baseball, and the adjective, the answer is when the T-Mobile. I drink beer and eat hot dogs at the stadium, which has many concession stands. So which has many concession stands. What's that all together? So these clauses, the challenge with ESL is that many non-native speakers just speak in simple sentences. And by combining these clauses, simple relative clauses, you can extend the length of your sentence. And it's just better grammar. Anyway, that is it. As I said, it was very short this time, and we'll see you next week.